Hello again, vinyl community and cassette community. So today I have kind of two cassette hauls to show you. I did originally make this video showing the first haul, but I never published it, so what the heck, I'm going to show that haul plus another one. So I apologize if I've shown any of these cassettes before. I don't think I have, but maybe I have shown one or two. I kind of, I made the video that I never published. I put the cassettes away, and I've had to go through my tapes and pick out the ones that I'm pretty sure were the ones that I hadn't shown. So these were all from a Goodwill. I just happened to see them. They were in like a basket type of thing, along with like hats and bits and pieces, like women's clutches, like purses and that type of thing. So I was about to leave the store and happened to see them, so that was kind of cool. So first up we have Back to the 60s compilation album. It's got some good stuff on here. We've got like Del Shannon, Runaway, Chubby Checker, The Drifters, Little Anthony and the Imperials, The Bachelors, The Tornadoes. So it's got some decent stuff. Doobie Brothers, Best of the Doobies, parts 1 and 2. I do have part 1 on vinyl, but I don't have part 2, so that's kind of cool. Kind of nice to find that. All the classics: Long Train Running, Take It to the Streets, It Keeps You Running, Listen to the Music. In fact, I'm much more familiar with the songs that are on side 1, which is the first Best Of album, versus side 2, which I'm really not very familiar with most of these. What a Fool Believes. Okay, so I know that one, but yeah. Next up we have Moody Blues, Voices in the Sky. I was kind of excited to find this. I love the tape that this is on. This is on Decca label. And I think it's reasonably old, but it's maybe not that old because it is on Dolby, and it's also on a chrome tape, which is nice, a little high quality. Made in Holland. I'm not sure what year this came out. Looks like possibly 84, so it's quite a bit later than I first thought it was. But yeah, the usual Moody Blues classics. Night in White Satin, of course. Let's see what else. I don't even know most of the other tracks, to be honest with you, but hey, I do know Nights in White Satin. Okay, the very best of The Lovin' Spoonful, Summer in the City, Daydream. Let's see what else. Okay, She's Still a Mystery. Yeah. Procol Harum, Greatest Hits. Of course, the sort of big hit was Whiter Shade of Pale, but it does also have, let's see what else, Hamburg, although they spelt it Homburg. Conquistador as well, it was another big hit of theirs. I thought this was a bootleg, but it is on Discogs, so I'm not entirely sure. It's on a very interesting label. And it's got some typos, some spelling mistakes, and I was convinced this was a bootleg, but apparently it isn't, and it actually sounds great. So it's nice quality tape. Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme. One of my favorite all-time artists, and even though I do have this on vinyl, and I have it on CD as well actually, but yeah, couldn't pass it up. U2, The Joshua Tree. Very pleased to find this. I do have it on CD, but did not have it on any other format. Very nice condition. This might be on chrome tape too. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. But classic album, of course. A lot of the big hits on it. Where the Streets Have No Name. I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. With or Without You, and that's just side 1. Seeing God's Country, okay, One as well, classic song. Next up we have Wham, Make It Big. I do have this on vinyl, but again, couldn't pass it up, just sitting there. on cassette. A number of the large hits on this one: Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Everything She Wants, Freedom, and Careless Whisper. Okay, Santana's Greatest Hits. And again, I apologize if I've shown any of these. It is possible I've shown one or two of them. So just bear with me. I don't know most of the songs on this. I am not a, I like Santana. I'm not a huge fan. Black Magic Woman, of course, it's a classic. Maybe Evil Ways as well. But yeah, most of these I'm not too familiar with. This might have been one of the Columbia House releases. I'm not too sure. It is on the Columbia label. Okay, this one I might have shown before, but again, I'm sorry if I have. Roxette, Look Sharp. I have this on CD, but it's a good album. It has the look. Dress for Success. Dangerous. It's a good track. Listen to Your Heart, another very well-known song of theirs. Finally, Sade, Diamond Life. This has both Smooth Operator and Your Love Is King on here. Not too familiar with the album, to be honest. I knew of it, but I did not own it on any other format. Okay, so that was kind of the first four. I did, a couple of weeks ago, stop by a little independent thrift store. I picked up one 8-track, and that's Frank Sinatra, My Way. This is actually a quad release. The first and so far only quad 8-track that I have. And I don't think I have any quad vinyl either, so of course you can still play it on a regular stereo 8-track deck. It's just that instead of 4 tracks, we have 2 tracks, or 2 programs I should say. So really what you're doing when you're flipping between programs 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're really only ever flipping between 2 programs. You're just getting a slightly different experience with the stereo mix on each one. Okay, so that was my my haul from kind of a couple of weeks ago. This bigger haul that I'm going to show you, this was an eBay purchase. Again, it was around a couple of weeks ago. It was a little bit after those other ones, and I thought this was a steal, including shipping. I think this was like $14, and I got I think there's like, I don't know, let me count how many tapes there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, let's say around 30 cassettes in here, something like that. Oh, I forgot one. Bo Diddley, Say Man. That was from the Goodwill haul. Yeah, sorry, I put this on the wrong pile right in front of me. But okay, so around 30 tapes from this eBay haul. So let's take a look. And there's some good stuff in here, really good stuff. 1 or 2 kind of, whatever, but most of it's really solid. We start off with B.B. King, LA Midnight. Now this is a very old, early cassette. It's in the old, there you go, the old case. It used to open up like this. That, and no Dolby, nothing like that. But yeah, I don't know the album, to be honest with you. I like B.B. King, but I don't think I have any of these albums on vinyl, that's for sure. But yeah, this is peeling, but that's okay. Okay, next up was Kenny Rogers, The Gambler. A well-known album. It's one that I've seen other people show, especially on vinyl, but not an album that I previously had. I actually listened to like most of side 1 of this, and it's pretty good. There is something unusual about this tape, and I don't know if it was deliberately made like this and all of them came like it, or if I don't know, somebody stuck 2 halves of the tape together, but half of it is black and the other half is white. And I'm wondering if this is something to do with the gambling theme, like roulette maybe, something like that, or just gambling, black or white. I wasn't too sure, but it's definitely the same tape, and the labels are the same on both. So I don't know. Okay, next is Rick Springfield's Greatest Hits. I only really know him for Jesse's Girl, which of course is on here. I don't... Human Touch, well, that was a Bruce Springsteen song. I don't know if this is a different song or... yeah, I'm really not too familiar with Rick Springfield. He, you know, he was an artist that was pretty big in the US in the 80s. I did not grow up in the US, and Rick Springfield was not big in the UK. So that's probably partly why I'm not that familiar with most of his songs. Next, The Pretenders, the singles. I'm a pretty big fan of The Pretenders. This has all of the good stuff on it. Middle of the Road, Don't Get Me Wrong, Back on the Chain Gang, Brass in Pocket, and my personal favorite, Hymn to Her, which I think is just a terrific pop song. Okay, bear with me, it's going to get better. Def Leppard, Adrenalize. Yeah. I have a few Def Leppard albums. I have Pyromania and Hysteria on vinyl. I have Hysteria on CD. I also have High and Dry on cassette and Hysteria on cassette. I did not have Adrenalize, so yeah. I do know a few of the songs. Let's Get Rocked, Make Love Like a Man. Let's see what else is on here. Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad? Yeah. Those are the three songs I definitely know. Oh, somebody's going to correct me on the name of this album. I know they are. Van Halen. I don't know if you literally say it OU812, OU812. I don't know if it's supposed to be code for something that I'm not understanding. I don't know. But I do know the album, or at least I know of the album. And yeah, so anyway, that was very nice to have in that lot. Next up, Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. Not one of the better ones that were in here, but I do have the album on vinyl. It is decent. It has All Night Long on it. It has Hello, big #1 hit. And oh, Running with the Night, that's a good song. Running with the Night, you know. So I have it on vinyl, but whatever, it was part of the lot, so that's fine. Another one that I have on vinyl is Carole King's Greatest Hits. It's got all of her big stuff on here. It's Too Late. I assume it has I Feel the Earth Move on here. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. So very cool. Next up we have Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. The Sky is Crying. I know of Stevie Ray Vaughan, and I'm going to confess I do not own anything, or did not own anything of his. So I cannot kind of comment on the songs that are on here. I'm sure some... Well, okay, Little Wing, I assume that's a Jimi Hendrix song, but I don't know, Boot Hill, The Sky is Crying. That's the title track, I suppose. Empty Arms, Little Wing, Wham, May I Have a Talk with You, Close to You, Chitlins Con Carne, So Excited, and Life by the Drop. So I'm excited to listen to this. I haven't played it yet. Let's see, what year is this from? This is from 1991. Alright, let's keep going. George Strait, Lead On. Country artist, don't have anything of his. I will certainly give it a try. That's about all I have to say about George Strait, sorry. Okay. Peter Gabriel, Shaking the Tree. I'm a pretty big Peter Gabriel fan. In fact, his Secret World live album is one of my all-time favorite live albums. It's just fantastic. This has... This is a Greatest Hits album? No. Well... I didn't think it was, but now that I sort of look at it, I'm suddenly thinking... Yes, it is a Greatest Hits album. Jeez. 16 Golden Greats. I was looking at the track listing and thinking that... boy, there seems to be quite a few hits on here that I thought were on other albums. So this has Salisbury Hill, Sledgehammer, Shaking the Tree, Don't Give Up, San Jacinto, Red Rain, Games Without Frontiers, Shock the Monkey, Big Time, Biko, and several others. So a lot of his big hits. Next up, it's getting good. Pink Floyd, Animals. I got this on vinyl pretty recently in the last couple of months, but yeah, really pleased to get this on cassette too. This might be another Columbia Record Club release, I'm not too sure. It is on the Columbia label. Okay, Journey Greatest Hits. Let me think. I do have Escape by Journey on vinyl. I don't think I have anything on CD, so it's nice to get a Greatest Hits album. You know, all the big stuff on here. Don't Stop Believing, Wheel in the Sky, Faithfully, which I love that song. It's a great track. Any Way You Want It, Who's Crying Now, Separate Ways, Open Arms. It's got some great stuff on it. The other thing that's nice about this is it actually has the lyrics on a little printed sheet inside. And at first I thought that somebody had printed it and just added it, but I think it's supposed to be in here. I think there's a little note I saw somewhere in here that said something to the effect of includes booklet or something. So very cool. Next up we have, this one's a little bit out of left field. 5 Star, Silk and Steel. It's a little bit out of left field compared to the other tapes that we've looked at. 5 Star were a British pop band. I really like them. I'm going to admit it, you guys know I like 80s music. I have like 4 of their albums on vinyl, including this one. And it's just good pop music. They ended up going bankrupt in like, I don't know, 1990, 91, something like that. And sort of eventually disbanded, but this is by far the best album in my opinion. It's got a lot of the big hits on it. Next up we have Crossroads by Tracy Chapman. I have her earlier album on CD, the one with Fast Car on it. Do not have this album. I have to admit I'm not very familiar with it. I don't even think I know any of the songs on here, not off the top of my head. Let's have a look. What year was this released? This was 1989, so that is after the other album, which I think came out in like 87. Next up we have, we're getting into territory where I'm less familiar with the artist. White Cross, Pure Metal. As the name suggests, I'm assuming this is some kind of a heavy metal band. This was released in 1987. They might be a Canadian band, at least. Well, no, I take that back. I'm sorry. There's a little sort of address thing here, which has a U.S. address and has a Canadian address. I didn't see the U.S. address. So actually, Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's where they're from, but yeah, I'm not familiar with White Cross. I'm sure if I've heard of them, which I'm sure if any metal fans are watching are probably like gasping right now. Okay, there's another White Cross album, Triumphant Return. This one is from 89. Okay, The Cars, Greatest Hits. Of course, I do know The Cars. Just What I Needed. Okay, You Might Think, Good Times Roll, Drive, etc. Shake It Up, etc., etc. Next up, this is another one I am not at all familiar with. I think the band name appears to be Tourniquet. I guess it's tourniquet, like a sling thing you put around your arm, around a limb or something to stop bleeding. The name of the album is Psychosurgery. This looks very possibly metal to me, or hard rock. It's kind of hard to tell from, I don't know, the cover would say to me that's got to be like a metal album, right? Sorry for the glare, but yeah. Next up, yeah, this is like the worst one in here, but it's okay. Dolly Parton, Linda Ronstadt, Emmylou Harris trio, some kind of a country album. I possibly won't keep it. It's not really my thing. Nothing against Dolly or anyone, but yeah. Okay, we're getting close. We're on to the last little stack here. There was a cassette single Paul McCartney's Put It There. This was released in, late 80s, was it? 1990. 1990. Yeah, this was from the Flowers in the Dirt album. That's right. I like the artwork. It's kind of neat. Also, this was sort of a little interesting one to me. This is Dan Fogelberg, Captured Angel. This is interesting because, you know, you guys know who go to thrift stores. Dan Fogelberg is really common in thrift stores. He's kind of thrift store fodder. You know, there's a good chance that you'll find him just as much or just as likely as you might find Barbra Streisand. But I haven't seen this album before. I've never seen it. Maybe there's some parts of the country where you find this in every other thrift store. I find a lot of his other albums in every other thrift store. I've never seen this one. So I don't even know what it's like. It's from 1975, which is still kind of in his golden period, if you like. So I'm going to be curious to give that a listen. Next up, this is kind of funny because I just showed you that Doobie Brothers one, but this again is Best of the Doobie Brothers. This is just part one though. So I may not keep that, or maybe I'll compare it to the other one to see which one sounds better. Maybe just give one of them away. Scorpions, Blackout. Yeah, this is kind of a neat little find. This is a fairly early cassette too. I don't think there's any Dolby on it. It looks old. Let's see, what year is this from? Oh, well, I take that all back. It's from 82, which is not that early for cassettes at all, really. They just didn't put Dolby on it for some reason. Okay. It is what it is. Next we have, now this is another one I'm not at all familiar with, Mad Season, Above. I'm assuming Mad Season is the name of the album. I'm sorry, it's the name of the band. And Above is the name of the album. I don't know, it's from 1995, fairly late for a cassette. Couldn't even tell you what kind of music this is. And now I've got myself curious, so I'm gonna open it up and have a quick look. Well, okay, Mad Season is the name of the band, so I've established that. Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't tell you what genre this is. I'm gonna assume it's rock. I don't know if it's metal. I'm just gonna assume it's rock. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Van Morrison, Back on Top. And again, I'm really sorry, guys, for the glare. I even moved my camera from its usual position, trying to avoid all of the glare that I was picking up, but I guess it didn't really help too much. This is a much later album. This is from 1999. So that's really kind of getting late as far as tape production is concerned. It's just on regular tape. It's not on chrome or anything. I'm not a massive Van Morrison fan. I'm going to put my hands up. You know what it is? It's that damn Brown Eyed Girl song. I can't stand that song. I know it's considered to be a bit of a classic. To me, it's so overplayed. I've never been a big fan of it. I never got it. I lumped that in with the Stranglers' Golden Brown for two of my most irritating songs of the 80s. At least I think Brown Eyed Girl was a very early 80s, right? I could be completely wrong on that too. But yeah, you know, sometimes songs just get, even if they're objectively good, they get so overplayed and you just get sick of it. That's what it is with Brown Eyed Girl. It's an okay song. Objectively, I can appreciate that. I just never liked it. There's something about it. Okay, we just got four more left. Time in a Bottle, and I'm going to say this guy's name wrong, but Jim Croce's Greatest Love Songs. I think somebody once corrected me in a comment about the pronunciation, so I'll probably get that again. But you know, it has Time in a Bottle on it, so that's all good. I don't know too many of his other songs. I even have a album of his. It might even be this one on vinyl. But this next one's kind of interesting. Al Stewart, The Early Years. Apparently this is a double album released in 1977. This one also has an insert, which actually looks quite official, with the lyrics on it. And I think maybe this was the tape I was thinking of, where it said that it had the program notes right there in red. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry, but. And you know, I know Al Stewart for his Year of the Cat album, which I have on vinyl. That's a good album. In fact, I think it's kind of a little bit of an underrated album. I don't know any of his earlier stuff. This must be from, I don't know. Some of it could even be from like the late 60s, for all I know. I'm not too sure, but it's a long tape. It's almost an hour and a half. And I mean, I guess it did say it was a double album, released in '77. So yeah, I'm going to be interested to see if there's any difference with some of his earlier music compared to his later stuff. All right, last two. A Portrait of Patsy Cline. Why not? Somewhat amazingly, it doesn't appear to have Crazy on here, which I couldn't quite believe. I don't know what that's about, but you know what? I was assuming this was some kind of a greatest hits album. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't. Although it was released in '88, so then I kind of think, well, surely it was. But yeah, it's on Decca Records. Yeah, I might keep that, maybe. And then last, and what shouldn't have been least, but well, I'll show you, the Crow City of Angels soundtrack. For those of you who are into kind of heavier music, I'm sure this would have been. This album's a little bit of a goldmine. We've got Hole, White Zombie, Filter, which I'm not familiar with, PJ Harvey, okay, Bush, Tricky versus the Grave Diggaz. Diggaz spelled D-I-G-G-A-Z. I'm not familiar. Seven Mary 3, never heard of them. Linda Perry featuring Grace Slick, okay. Grace Slick of Jefferson Starship, right? Toadies, okay. NY Loose, Korn, okay. Deftones, okay. Iggy Pop, Pet, and Above the Law featuring Frost. So I have to admit, there's several artists on here I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. It's a moot point because I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, maybe if it focuses. There she goes. Yeah, you see inside here, right in here, we've got mold in there. That's what that little white residue is. It's possible that this was once in a warmer climate. Climates that get a lot of humidity, you often have trouble with mold on tapes, and this is the first time I've seen it actually. So it's a little bit disappointing because I was looking forward to listening to the album, but it's not worth running the risk of putting the tape through my deck because you can get mold deposits in there. It can transfer to other tapes. Just not worth it. So I will be unfortunately throwing that out. It's too bad. Okay guys, thank you so much for bearing with me. I think we ended up going through like 50 tapes in the end. And yeah, I've been putting off making this tape, and I couldn't making this video, and I couldn't put it off anymore because my daughter has just started standing, holding herself up on things, and she's gonna get at these tapes. She already got one of my blank tapes. She pulled all the she found it and pulled all the tape out and snapped it and whatever. So as soon as she figures out she can pull herself up onto the table that these tapes are on right now, all bets are off. So I got to put these away, put them. I don't know. I got to put them somewhere. I'll figure it out. So thanks guys as always for watching. I appreciate all the comments and subscribers. And until next time, bye bye.